Okay, so now that Franklin Roosevelt has gotten his New Deal up and off the ground and it's running, and people are getting to work and making money and starting to get themselves back up on their feet, and the faith in the federal government is starting to be restored, Roosevelt recognizes that there's a group of people that have been kind of excluded, a group of people that haven't really been cared for, haven't been looked after. I mean, he recognizes this is a pretty important group of people, the elderly. So what we want you to do is, with Standard 18b, is be able to explain the passage of the Social Security Act and how it's a part of the second New Deal. All right. So the Social Security Act of 1935. Now, this is a pretty big deal because he waits until it's his second term in office when Roosevelt recognizes this is something that's a necessity. So it's going to be known as his second New Deal. You know, we're still providing relief and recovery for people in need across the country, and to reform the federal government and encourage people's faith in what the government can do for them. So senior citizens didn't directly benefit from the New Deal because it really provided jobs for those that were unemployed. Well, if you're a senior citizen and you're done working, what are you to do? Well, if you've lost your savings in the run on the banks and the stock market crash, you have nothing to live off of in retirement. Quick life lesson, you know, think about this. Like, don't just depend on Social Security. Like, put something aside for when you get older. And the earlier you can start, the better. But the Social Security Act of 1935 was created to provide old age or pensions for the elderly, okay? To provide some type of retirement, something that could supplement their retirement that was coming in. It also provided unemployment insurance. This is where your unemployment benefits come in. And then those people that are disabled that can't work through no fault of their own, to provide them some kind of financial assistance to help them get through their day-to-day lives. Okay. What's also going to be passed during this time is called the National Labor Relations Act. It's also known as the Wagner Act, and it's going to give workers the rights to unionize, to come together, to fight for better working conditions, better pay, and better treatment by their employers. It will allow them to collectively bargain, and then anytime they're mistreated, and this becomes very subjective, but when workers are mistreated or not taken care of like they should be, they can submit those grievances to the federal government, and the federal government can step in. The National Labor Relations Act also imposed restrictions so employers couldn't engage in unfair business practices. Franklin Roosevelt's goal was to drive wages up, so to improve what wages workers were bringing home. When you're bringing home more money, you spend more money. It goes into the economy. The economy sees a boost. So think about the stimulus checks that were sent out last spring, last summer, because they wanted people paying for things into the economy because that brings more jobs or creates more jobs. Roosevelt also wanted to increase workers' purchasing power because, well, the more money you have, the more you can buy, the bigger things you can buy. And then to improve working conditions. Okay, so the 1920s and the 1930s bring a whole lot of change to the government and to society, and a lot of legislation is passed. Okay. All right.